What's up, fish keepers? Today we're going to go over the steps that I did to make a do-it-yourself aquarium dividers for, this is going to be a tank for my Bettas. So there are a couple options you guys can do, ranging from cheapest to the most priciest. The nicest dividers I've seen that a lot of people use are the ones from Life with Pets. I think each divider itself is roughly $20. They have different options whether you want them to come with holes or just a solid piece, and you can get them in a pack of 1, 2, or 3, I believe, and they'll fit. There's different packages for different size tanks and different sets for that. The cheaper options are the do-it-yourselves. I've seen, you can go to the store, you can also get those mesh ones. I've also seen there's a lot of videos where people make their own mesh ones, but the way I did it was kind of in the middle, where I think it still looks nice to me and it doesn't cost a lot. So, things you're gonna need: corrugated plastic sheets. I've used these before. I've made dividers for my other fish and they looked horrible. So I wanted to go, take that up a step and then make them look a little bit cleaner for my personal use. They come in the sheets that are 20 inches by 30 inches. They probably have them that are larger, but I just got 2 sheets. As you can see, they're already cut out. Yeah, I did get 2. They were roughly $5 from Michael's. Michael's does always have coupons, so it was a little under $5 each, which isn't bad, and I was able to get 4 out of them. Yeah, so there's that, and then there's one more piece that was here. So it is fairly long. So unlike the mesh ones, these are pretty sturdy. They're double plastic. Double walled plastic with little spines going through. So water can pass through. Like if I poured water in here, it'll come out this side, but they're sturdy. They will bend, not so much the other way, but they will bend like this. So try not to bend it, because after you bend it, there's a crease and it's a lot easier to bend. Things I needed. A nice blade to make precision cuts. You're also going to need, what I used was a square. It's like a carpentry tool. It's like an L square. It almost looked like a L-shaped ruler. Mine was metal. Probably want that to be metal so you can make cuts. So what you do is it will balance on the top while the ruler part will come down, and you're gonna take your blade and just kind of go down multiple times until you cut all the way through. So that gives you the precision cuts. What I also got were binder spines. So I got a 30 pack on Amazon for roughly $10. The sizings are a little different. They have multiple sizes which are off by just a tiny bit. They go in millimeters, I believe. So I got one. I think the thickness of the corrugated boards itself, I don't know if it's on here, it isn't, is roughly about 0.45 millimeters in thickness. The binder spines were almost there. I think it was like a 0.38. But the spine itself looks a little bit larger. I don't know if you guys can see that. But if you look compared to this side where you can see all the holes, just putting a binder spine on there makes it look a lot cleaner. So if it's a part that's on the glass facing outside, it just looks like a smooth surface, which is also very similar to what Life with Pets dividers look like. And that was kind of the style I was going for. I put 2, one for the side, which is going to be facing the glass, and one on the top. So that way, it also looks clean as well. I did cut these a little bit shorter. The spines come in a 12-inch length, and I think from back to front, it's a little bit less than that, and from bottom to top, it's slightly less than that. So you just take scissors after you pop it on, and then you just want to snip off the excess. Not too hard. What I've been debating is if I want to create holes. I don't think I will, because the filter system I'm going to attempt, I don't think we'll require it. I think it'll do enough. Because when this goes against the glass, there is still a little space between where the glass touches the dividers, where it will allow some sort of flow. But I did test with doing holes, and I was thinking maybe I wanted to do a little bit along the top and a little bit along the back. And I found the best tool to use was a hole punch. If anybody's tried making dividers like this, a lot of people use a drill with like a bit. You will get like the little frazzly plastic pieces, and that would just kind of ruin the aesthetics that I wanted. I tested it with the hole punch, and it is a lot cleaner. Downside is you can only go in so much with the hole punch. So what is that, like roughly 3/4 of an inch, maybe an inch max. So yeah, so your holes would just be lined along just the top and the outside. You can't get any holes towards the middle with a hole punch. So I decided not to go that route. We'll see how it works after. Another thing I did notice is when I first test fitted these pieces, they were really firm and really snug against the bottom, because the bottom has the, what's that called? Silicone. The silicone all along the edges. The top doesn't. So what I went ahead and did, I did silicone across the front and the back. Yep, not on the sides, just the front and the back. So you just take, a bead of, I use GE Silicone 1, which has been proven to be safe in the aquariums. I just ran a bead along the front and the back, and then just drag my finger across it and just let it cure. To be safe, I think 3 days is good. This has roughly probably been 4 or 5. But yeah, so it will fit snug. All right, so the length from top to bottom and front to back is off by a little bit. So you want to make sure you get those measurements correct before starting to cut. If anything, it's always better to cut bigger than smaller, because once you cut smaller, you can't go back. So, cut, roughly 12 by 12, minus a little bit, and then see how your fitment is and how you like it. I'm not worried about the bottom, because I'm going to put these in and then put substrate, and hopefully, that should fit in place. But just to give you guys an idea of what it will look like, it's the last side. It's gonna be roughly like this. Like already, I know it's a tight fit, but I'm not too worried about the top silicone, as I just added there after doing this fitment. But it's gonna look like that. So let me give you a closer look. It's smooth on the top, and then you can see it's smooth on the side. All right, so I just finished. This is what it looks like. I'm trying to find some angle where there isn't glare, but you can see from the top, it's all pretty evenly divided. This side is slightly larger, and there is a reason for that. I'm gonna have the heater and the filter intake on this side. You guys can kind of see, this is the front. So it does look really clean. It's nice and smooth.
Looks almost professional. All right. So the front actually looks exactly like the top does, nice and smooth. And then we just go ahead and add the substrate.
I think this is going to be a spot where I'm going to put it. Put a light on it so you guys can kind of see better without the glare. I think I said each partition was 5 gallons, but that would have been if there was 4, but since there's 5, they're actually 4 gallons each. You know, which is okay for a Betta. I wanted to make it 5, but I think I have more than 5 coming in, so this is gonna serve as a holding tank, quarantine tank, until I figure out if I'm gonna do another 20 gallon with the similar setup except partitioned into 4. And I'll have 2 20 gallons with 4 each, giving them all 5 gallons of space. So one thing I did want to talk about is why I have no holes in the divider. Like I said earlier, I was thinking about doing a few holes to regulate the flow a little better. But what I'm going to try to do is I'm going to stick a canister on there. So I got a cheap canister that I really thought would be perfect for what I needed it to do. So this is a Penplex Cascade 500, so it's, I think, might be the smallest version, so I think it's up to 30 gallons, but it should work really great on this 20 gallon. The reason I got it is I just tested it, is it's got the spray bar. The spray bar, I was hoping it was long enough, and it is. It's exactly 30 inches. So the idea is to have it in the back where it sprays into each section, creating that movement and that flow, and having the intake on one side, which will, in theory, be able to suck everything through all of them to the intake. I'm hoping it works out. Another thing I was thinking about doing was making little notches in the dividers in the back top, so this rests in there, but this is like pretty much exactly the size of the tank, so it's gonna have to be on top. I'm gonna have to figure out what I'm gonna do with the lid situation, because I think I do want a lid rather than lowering the water level too much. But once again, this is just testing, trying to see, you know, what works for my situation with the things that I have. So yeah, let me get that set up. With the scape, I'm gonna do a black bottom, just to kind of have it match everything. Since it does go in deeper than it is wide, I want to have a little slope coming from the back. So for that, I'm going to use small lava rock. I'm just going to put that on the back sides, just so, you know, it creates the mound for me. And then to fill the rest, you know, I got my Eco Complete. I'm going to mix it up with some stratum and then some black diamond blasting sand. I mean, you guys can do it any way you want. Obviously, it's completely personal preference for the substrate from here, depending on, you know, if you guys do want to do a planted or not. I plan on having plants in there. So yeah. Alright, so setting up the filter took way longer than I thought it would, just because the spray bar is exactly the length that, you know, moving it across the dividers and the rim, you know, could cause it to slip, you know, out behind the tank, and I don't want 20 gallons of water on my floor. So it's resting on top right now. Luckily, it comes with a bunch of elbows to kind of make it how you want it to look. I don't know if you guys can see that, but ultimately I might end up cutting about 1.5 inches off
so I can fit it inside the tank, but then I need to make the notches inside the dividers as well. So depending how secure I can get this, like this is not secure at all, you know. So this can completely move, and with my kids, I don't think it's gonna be a great idea, but let's see how it works. I'm gonna slowly start filling my tank right now, and then turn on the filter and cross our fingers. All right. So I'm filling up the tank right now. You can see the first compartment's, you know, 3/4 of the way there, and it just keeps dropping. So that already shows me that there's not enough flow for the filter to possibly work properly. So if I've got the intake on this side, then that's going to mean is this side will drain faster than, let's say, this side, the right side, and possibly overflow it. I think one way I can offset that is if I close up more of the spray bar that goes into this right compartment, and then gradually increase it as it goes to the left. All right, so we're almost to the top, but it's evened out a lot more. I think more pressure in here has caused the water to push along to the rest of the tank, giving it also more space for water to seep through along the fronts and the back. So I think we're gonna be okay, but I'm gonna finish filling this up and then we'll see. All right, so tank's filled, water's leveled out. It did it pretty quick, so that's good news. Gonna try priming the filter and then letting it roll. All right, filter's filling up. As you can see, this is already draining a lot faster. There goes the spray bars. And then if this side rises too high and this side doesn't, then we'll need to make adjustments. All right, so it's not leveling out. So one thing I'm gonna have to do is make alterations in the dividers. What I'm gonna do is end up punching holes along the back side for more flow. And then I'm gonna have to notch, probably cut about an inch off from the top so the spray bar will fit, and I'll cut the spray bar about an inch as well so it goes completely in the tank, because as you guys can hear, that's pretty loud. And I think it's, I don't know, I'd say the flow rate is not bad. I think I would want it a little bit less. It's causing a lot of backsplash and a lot of sound. So probably in the next video, I'm gonna show you guys how it is when it's all complete. We still have time because the fish don't get here for another roughly 2 weeks. So yeah, I'll see you guys for part 2.